Steph Curry almost ruined male sports.
No, don't do it.
I'm gonna go Sabrina here. I watched her shatter Steph's record of 31 points in a round of shooting because she made 20 in a row. 20 in a row.
If Sabrina had beaten the greatest shooter in NBA history in a three-point shooting contest,
I just can't go away from Steph.
I don't think anybody in the world outshoots Steph Curry.
if he did lose, guppies all around the world would be saying
We're queens, and at the end of the day, we're alpha. We run the world, baby, basically. We're superheroes. We alphas up in this. We're the prize.
Because pussy rules the world.
I love women, but I'm not beat for women in sports. If Steph lost to Sabrina, that's exactly what we would have to start accepting. People won't start caring until their sons can't play on the team because they had to designate 2 spots for females. What? Can we benefit in any way competing against females?
That's a good question. Wow. Next question.
So why would Steph risk losing to a female and potentially ruining the league? Look at Jackson State football team. Their kicker is a female, born a female, with a real VJJ. Not saying I'd blindside her, but if she stepped on the football field with me, I'd wash her like Strickland did Sneeko, just so she keep her cheeks out of male sports.
Quickly about Leilani, she's the first woman in Jackson State University history to play in a football game.
You may think that's minor, but give them an inch and see how far they take it. Females anywhere in male sports make no sense to me, and I'm 100% against it. Well, most of the time. Yes, it looks beautiful, but let a man say something she doesn't like. His career is done. That's why women shouldn't play, coach, or ref in male sports.
I think Max Strus just picked up a technical foul.
Max Strus was called for a foul, and rather than complain, he kept calm. Loose Booty felt the way he handed her the ball was a detriment to the game, so she gave him a technical foul. Not to be offensive, but first thing I thought was, she needs some schmeat or she's on her period. That action was a problem to her. But since Scott Foster be allegedly on his period too, that kind of hurts my argument. I don't know if you know, but depending how emotional a female feels, there may be 0% chance that woman will be fair to you. Y'all know this is true. Walk by her and let her hear you tell someone, wow, she's gorgeous. Tell me you's not getting away with a few calls in your favor. Make a woman feel good, and she won't be able to not show you favoritism. But back to the greatest shooter in NBA history. Even though Sabrina wouldn't have convinced me she's a better shooter than Steph, women will remind us
He rules the world.
and men have no rights to keep them from playing in the NBA.
And it's actually women that can go out here and do the same thing that men do.
And you know the agenda will make sure women get what they want. So as soft as football's becoming, they'll be in the NFL too. We cannot compete with women because a win is a loss. So let's not support any competition between a man and a woman. Your sons will lose going up against a female, and your daughters will lose going up against a male. All of that will be because Steph Curry, the greatest shooter in NBA history, let a woman think she could beat him in a 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah, but isn't the All-Star Weekend about us, the fans, and the players giving back to us, the fans? So Steph Curry and Sabrina did exactly what we wanted them to do.
It's just let the best shooter win.
Need I say more?
Are you not entertained?
Now, we all knew that it was friendly competition, but she ain't take no shortcuts whatsoever. So at the end of the day, I gotta kind of respect that.
I didn't back down from the challenge, and obviously going up against the best shooter this game has ever seen and wanting to continue to just evolve and shooting from the NBA line for me is what I wanted to do to show all those young kids to not be scared of going out there and doing something that's never been done before.
Mission accomplished. And what she put out there on the floor is going to be an inspiration to young women and young children in general.
Being able to be a role model for a lot of young girls and knowing that they're growing up in a society where they're able to watch us and they're able to go to games and watch us on TV, attend our camps.
Sabrina went in there with one goal in mind. We're going to show that we can shoot. We're going to show that we have the same hunger. We have the same passion. And we got women that could dunk in our league. She wanted to put on display that, yes, women do have the same hunger as our male counterparts.
In terms of both of us viewing the game like that, both being very competitive and wanting to win this competition opens the eyes of a lot of people in terms of how they view these competitions and then in turn how they view our sport.
And what better way to get that mission accomplished by going against the greatest shooter in the world?
It's a blessing and an opportunity to even be in the same conversation as Steph.
Or the greatest shooter of all time.
Greatest shooter this game has ever seen.
And let's face it, there's a lot of sports fans that see the WNBA like this dude.
It's not as exciting.
No, it's not as exciting.
It's not as exciting basketball.
Yeah, you're not.
They got low the rims. I would watch a girl coming down the lane. On another, I would watch that.
So with that in mind, why would Kenny the Jet Smith say something ridiculous like this?
She should have shot from the women's line. That would have been a fair contest. I still lose for Sabrina.
Actually, I was advocating for her more than anything else because basketball is muscle memory.
Right.
So he practices from one range, she practices from the other.
With the mission that Sabrina had in mind, doing the mission with the way that Kenny the Jet Smith wanted to do it would make that mission an epic fail.
No matter how challenging or difficult that decision seems, I'd rather go down fighting for what I believe I'm capable of doing.
Like she said, she wasn't afraid of the moment, she wasn't afraid of the stage, and she backed it up. So it was awesome to see, and I hope they, not just my girls, a lot of young girls take something from that.
Now, what if Steph did lose to Sabrina? Would that make women in droves want to go to the NBA? No. And let's face it, Stephen Curry is 2-5 when it comes to the three-point shooting contest. So the man has lost many of times, but yet we still look at him as the greatest shooter ever. Now, all those big Shirleys that you saw talking about,
We're queens, and at the end of the day, we're alpha.
And it's actually women that can go out here and do the same thing that men do.
these women aren't athletes. They're your average Joe Schmo. So who care about what they think? They're gonna have delusions because most women athletes, they really don't want to compete against men, especially in a contact sport.
The men are a lot faster. They hit hard. It's just a different game.
And Sabrina, her main goal was to put the spotlight on the WNBA, which would bring more viewership, which would then turn into more dollars for that league. Women that have their own league do not look to go in a man's league. The main thing they fight for is more pay, so to speak.
I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed.
He ain't lying.
I mean, if you want more evidence, just look at this trans player who injured 3 girls in a high school basketball game in just the first half. And that's a high schooler. Now imagine a full-grown man playing against women. Oh, and if you want to know how that game turned out, the coach actually forfeited the game at halftime because they had a limited amount of able bodies to finish the game. So to protect those girls, he decided to forfeit the game. Now, as far as women competing in men's sport, the more money that the women are making in these leagues, the less desire they would even have to try and compete against men in men's sports because they know that's where the money's at.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So as great as that competition was, and that stole the show of All-Star Saturday night, I hope this is not the last time that we see it.
I'm excited to see who else is going to be able to participate in this. It's the first of its kind and hopefully not the last.
If you want further proof that women want no parts of competing against men, check out this video on this new transgender policy that will change women boxing forever. But hey, you heard my talk, you heard June talk, but don't call it locker room talk, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Hey, that's that locker room talk right there.
This was locker room talk.
Hey, that's that locker room talk right there.